Hey YouTube, what's up? My name is Camilla. I make videos on YouTube, usually about transgender related topics. Today I'm going to talk about trans for trans relationships, aka T4T. That basically means two transgender people in a relationship. I'm going to talk briefly about the pros and cons and share my experience. Just remember that this is my experience and you may have varying opinions, and that's wonderful. Being different is a cool thing, but this is my bias and my experience. I have dated several transgender people. I only date trans women. I'm nothing against trans men. I just prefer dating a trans woman if I'm going to date someone who is trans. Trans for trans relationships, you're able to understand dysphoria. There is more empathy in between the partners because they have lived experience with similar situations. They probably, take the same cross-sex hormones you do. Their life is going to have a lot more resemblance of your life, which makes the relationship a lot more relatable. One of the issues with dating as a trans person in general is that there's a stigma. That's the biggest issue. But also, dating a trans person, like they cannot procreate. There's a lot of downsides to dating a trans person that straight people or non-trans people can't get out of a transgender person. Even if they're able to see beyond the stigma or the lack of possible child, like producing children, there's a lot that goes in with lack of understanding, not being able to understand dysphoria. There is so many things that I find dating a trans person, it's more like drinking water. It feels very natural. Dating a non-trans person, I usually date straight men or bisexual men. But dating a trans person is easier on my mind and on my heart. Dating someone that's non-trans, I'm always worried, like, will they leave me for a real woman? Because I'm not a real woman. I am an intersex transsexual. And that can be, make me feel more self-conscious. So in a trans for trans relationship, I find that I'm less self-conscious about my body parts, even my private parts, is less embarrassing. Usually when I date non-trans people, during intercourse with men, sometimes I will leave my underwear on and use a thong for access, and that's because I'm dysphoric about showing my private parts, my pre-op private parts to a man, unless I'm in a long-term relationship where he's comfortable seeing my penis. But when I'm dating another trans woman, I've only dated pre-op trans women, they have penises. So there is like a benefit of understanding bottom dysphoria or top dysphoria, facial hair dysphoria, all of the things that like trans people work to change throughout the course of their lives during their transition. So someone like me who's had some FFS, and I've had my facial hair removed and I've maxed out what hormones can do. I found that dating other trans people honestly is my preferred dating method. I do enjoy dating men, straight men or bisexual men, but as I said earlier, there is less it's harder for the two parties in a relationship to empathize with each other. When you date another trans person, like I said, it's like drinking water. It's very natural. I'm trying to think of some of the other benefits to it. I'm sorry, my allergies are terrible this morning. Another thing is lived experience. So like if my partner gets misgendered, being misgendered, someone using the wrong pronouns, that can be very hurtful to a trans person, especially if they don't pass 100%. I have dated trans women who were less passable than I am. One of the downsides with that though is that it can create dysphoria for your partner. Generally, you want to date someone who is in their transition long enough to relate with you. Dating someone who is early in their transition, they have a lot of dysphoria and a lot of potential for jealousy, whereas dating someone who has been on hormones at least 5+ years, they're going to have less jealousy towards your body, my body. In my case, my girlfriend is not jealous of me because she has her own transition, and she has features that I don't have. She's skinny, she's petite, like things that I'm thick and I'm 5'8", she's 5'3". So like her height is super passable. Her skeletal system is very structured. Excuse me. English is my second language. So her skeletal structure is more feminine than mine in some aspects. But I'm a lot longer in transition and have had my facial hair removed and had my facial work done. But the jealousy isn't there. When I dated what we call a baby trans, that means just someone who's new to their transition in their first few years, I found it's harder to date people who are very early in their transition. So that's one of the cons is I'm not saying and telling you who to date, that's up to you, but I'm sharing this as dating as a trans person. I like to date someone who has been in transition a while because they have more lived experience, and they know what it's like to be pre-transition. They have seen both sides of the world, and they've seen the world through both genders. So that gives them lived experience as a man and a trans woman. That's great, and you have a lot more insight into people. I do believe transsexual people have more insight about gender roles in society more than a non-trans person would, just because most trans people have lived as both genders. Very few people start transitioning young. Unfortunately, we have a social contagion right now, and trans children should not be transitioning. That's a topic for a whole other video. But my girlfriend has had lived experience as a guy. She transitioned at 20, which is pretty young, very close to the age I was. I started at 21. So we have a lot of shared experience and insight in the world that most people don't have. There are so many benefits to it. Sexual intimacy can be easier and less stressful in the beginning because you are dating someone who has the same body parts you have. It's like drinking water. I can't say that enough. T4T relationships, it's definitely a preference. Like I'm bi and I love men. Like I usually prefer dating men. There is pros and cons to dating men and women and about being bi, and I should make a video about what it's like to be bisexual, but I kind of like men and women right down the middle. I like trans women and regular women, and I like men. Trans men is just not my cup of tea. It's no shade, it's just not for me. But I find dating another trans woman to be very easy to fall in love. If you have compatibility and you care for each other, love will spark fast. And I love that. I feel like I'm able to put my walls down, and a lot of past traumas that I've dealt with men sexually, like going through SA and things like that, allow me to be intimate with my girlfriend a lot quicker and more comfortably than I am when I start dating a man. If you have any questions about T4T relationships or trans for men relationships, leave some comments, leave some questions. Let me know what you thought of this video. I know it was a bit redundant, but I can't emphasize certain points enough. It's a very it's a very wonderful process of falling in love. I love oxytocin, so it's fun, and I'm happy that I am in a relationship with a lovely trans lady. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Ring the bell for notifications so you'll never miss an upload, and you'll be notified every time I upload a video. I try to upload a video at least 2 or 3 times a month. Haven't been able to make them as frequent as I used to, but maybe soon I'll get there. I'm also going to be making, I'm going to have a members channel for people who subscribe and pay to be part of exclusive, they will receive exclusive content. If they have questions, I can make private video and content that I don't put on my main channel related to like more specific and niche related topics. My main YouTube Aaron channel is like broad, but I'm gonna try to focus on some smaller bullet points or fine details of a lot of the topics that I've spoke on in my videos. I have not monetized the channel yet, but I have been approved for monetization. I hope that everyone has a lovely day or evening wherever you are at, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone. Thank you so much for watching.